Once again, everybody, thank you and happy holidays from Filevine. Hopefully everyone can see our beautiful starting slide. Thank you, creative team, for joining us for Deck the Halls with new Filevine features. Alrighty. Looks like we have quite a few folks here now. I am going to go ahead and jump in because we have a lot to cover today. Thank you again for joining us. I know I mentioned this earlier, but this is a busy week for many, and so we are so grateful you wanted to spend it with Filevine, hearing about what we have released or are releasing for you this year and next. So before I begin, everyone, I am Keegan Chapman. I'm our SVP of Go-to-Market Strategy here at Filevine. So I'm lucky enough to work with many of these product leaders to launch new products into the platform for all of you. So today in this webinar, we're going to be talking about free gifts for all customers. No matter what type of user you are in Filevine, you are going to get access to new features as well as new products that will help enhance your experience with Filevine. In addition, we have quite a few free gifts for our AI customers. So folks that have purchased and have been using AI to enhance the Filevine experience, we are making being a Filevine AI customer that much more worth your time and your while, as well as help impact your firm in great ways. So we will do those things first, and then we'll jump in for a Q&A. But at any given time, please hop into the Q&A, chat in your questions. My product leaders here will be here to answer. I'll be jumping in as well, but we have a lot to show you today, and so we're really excited. So with that, I'm going to pass it off to Brandon, who's here to share about our new iteration of the activity feed. So Brandon, with that, I'm going to give you sharing abilities, and the floor is yours.
Great. Thank you so much. Happy holidays, everyone. As Keegan said, my name is Brandon. I'm Senior Product Manager here at Filevine, and I'm here to talk to you about an update to our activity feed. So, as many of you know, the activity feed is truly a core piece of everyone's Filevine experience. And so when we set out to build this page, we knew we wanted to bring a more modern design and a more flexible user experience. But knowing that it is the core piece of your workflow, we wanted to make sure that the release and adoption of this product was really flexible for you all. And so I'm going to go ahead and show what some of that looks like. There's this QR code here that you can snap there, and we will show that again at the end. So taking you into the activity feed. So the activity feed, we know it. It's been a core part of Filevine. And for those of you who will be receiving this later this week, you will see this banner up here at the top that the new feed and activity are here, and you can opt in for the new look. Now, one note, when we set out to build this, as you know, the feed is very, very large, and we wanted to make sure that as we were building it and as we were releasing things, we were able to get your feedback and collect your feedback as we built it. So what you'll see here, and this is going to be super important for your user experience, is I call this the magic light bulb. In the magic light bulb, there is documentation. Any of the updates that we have can be found here, and then you can give feedback right there. Now, when you toggle this on, you are taken to the new activity feed design. So as you can see here, it's a little bit more streamlined, but there are a couple of enhancements that I want to point out to this main experience. One is when you have a task, if you need to reassign it to someone else, you are able to do that directly here from the main view. You no longer have to click into the task in order to reassign it or change the due date. So that's one of those streamlined features that we wanted to bring directly to the front page there. One other thing that I want to point out is when you are going into an actual activity item and you're going to, write a comment or do any of those sorts of actions, we now open it here on the side. So we wanted this to, this helps you keep in line over here in the feed. You're still able to see all of your feed items, and you can still see your activity items and comments and any threads over here. And what's great is this makes it really easy for me to go ahead and go through all of my notifications because I can click here on the left and it just updates what's there on the right. We also have two views available today. One is the card view and one is the condensed view. So all of this will be available later this week for all users. And again, you will have the toggle. So this will allow everyone in your firm to control their adoption as you go through, and you can choose when to use the new feed and when to swap over to the old feed. I did want to take a quick moment. Actually, let me answer this question really quick because I see it came in. When you opt in or out as a with this toggle, that is as an individual user. So each individual user is able to toggle and choose when they use the old and when they use the new. So each user can do that on their own. I did want to, I think it's okay since we're here and since this is a special year-end event, I did want to show some things that are coming in the new year as well, because there are some additions that will be available for users. So I'm going to briefly touch on them. I told you about the two views, the card view and condensed view. We are going to be adding a third view called the list view. This is going to be a really streamlined version. If you notice this, if you look at this, it probably looks a lot like email. So this is going to be a very common pattern to go through. And this is going to be a really quick and easy way for users to be able to catch up quickly on their feed. You can see how many notes and activity items I can see in one place. So we're really excited to get this out early in January. And the next thing that I wanted to point out is we are going to be adding the ability to create a note or a task directly from the feed. So when you are on the feed, you will be able to create a note, a task, send a text message, all those directly from the feed. And the other thing that will come along with this that you might notice here is the ability to log a phone call. So in January, you'll be able to log your phone calls inside of the activity feed so that you can keep all of that client communication in one place. So lots of exciting things coming later this week, and then lots of exciting things to come in January. And I'm teasing a little bit here, but Josh, I'm going to pass it over to you next.
And while we pass it over to Josh and Josh gets ready, Brandon, you have quite a few questions in the Q&A here. So he will be hopping in as Josh jumps in to talk about the client portal. And with that, Josh, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Keegan. So yeah, let's talk about the client portal. For many of you that attended Lex, you got a sneak peek at this. And so we started beta right after Lex, and we've gotten tons of feedback. And some of the wonderful feedback has helped us rebuild some things and actually make it more functional for our users. So let's talk about the client portal a little bit. The reason that we built it was to really centralize the communication for you as the law firm and your clients. Now, look, that is the basis of Filevine. That is why the feed is what it is, right? But we wanted to make sure that it is a seamless interaction between your clients and you. Additionally, we'll allow it to be accessed directly through the feed. So all of the communication coming from the feed and directly to the client and the client back to you is all going to happen in the feed, just like you use Filevine today. Also, we want to make sure that your clients can get notifications. So really, there are three types of notifications that happen within the portal. So the first thing is you can invite a user to the client portal or a contact inside of your file inside of Filevine to the client portal via text or email. And then once they've done that, they have the ability to also add this to their phone's home screen. That allows it to allow push notifications for iOS devices and additionally for Android devices as well. And then we also now have multilingual support for English and Spanish. So this will allow you to set defaults if you would like to send it via Spanish or English, and additionally be able to send notifications separately in different languages. So with that, I'll go ahead and show this inside of Filevine. So this particular project, I have already enabled the portal for this particular Buddy the Elf, and it's under my email. I did receive the email, so I'll go ahead and show that this portal is open here. The client will receive an email for this particular situation, and then as soon as they get that email and they click activate, they'll also get a two-factor authentication code. Again, making this as secure as everything else in Filevine. Part of the client portal, they'll be able to see the steps along the way. So where are they currently at in their particular lifespan of the case? Any of the notifications that they're getting, this particular one has a brand new message. Their team This is now customizable. Originally, when we launched this, it was called My Team. You can now customize this to say My Legal Team or whatever fits your business needs. Additionally, any of the business information that you'd like to show. Again, all of this is customizable inside the Client Portal Manager app, which I will show here shortly. For the messages piece, we saw that one single message that came into the Client Portal. I can reply to that message here. And we can go ahead and show that that will show back in Filevine as well. So I'll go ahead and send this one. Again, this will go ahead and prompt me. So we'll see it here, and then back in Filevine, if I come down to this message here, I should be able to see that now thank you is shown up. You can see the little one up here in my feed as well. We are getting the notifications inside of Filevine as well. Again, seamless communication between you and your client. Long-term timeline, where are they at now and where are they going throughout the process? Again, this is completely customizable by your firm, and actually now project type and a delineation with maybe case type or even business entity with custom fields. So let's lead it over to the Client Portal Manager app. For the first start of it, you can select how your client is viewing your portal. Are they seeing it with your logo here at the top, or are they seeing just a name here in the top of there? We also have dynamic colors. So if it's black, that's your background, we can make it swap the name to white so it's very visible for your customer. Again, we do provide some wonderful options of how to upload the file, what the file type should be, how much white space is allowed, things like that, to make sure that your portal looks the best for your client. You can have it where it's showing project name or the primary contact name. Same thing with project ID. Again, a unique identifier for Filevine clients to be able to get to the case fast. Business information. Again, I showed that here in the client portal, but you can show, maybe you want to show a phone number that isn't your marketing number. Make sure that the client is always calling the actual firm side and not your intake side. So that's a possibility here as well. And then also your team members. I talked about how this is customizable now. Again, this one's set up as my team, but it can be my legal team. Again, showing roles on the case. So in this particular client portal, I do have my roles that are showing here. So I have, Neil, Ashley, and Sarah as part of my legal team that I'm dealing with. So they know exactly who they're dealing with along the way. I did see a question inside the chat earlier about how do you know what's coming on the roadmap. I'll just lay some roadmap things out for you now. The first thing that we're going to be doing in Q1 that you will see is going to be Filevine forms. So the ability to have a form in the client portal that actually populates the fields back in Filevine. So that'll be the first thing that we'll be working on in Q1. We'll have payments and billing that'll be coming to the client portal as well. So for the time and billing customers on the call, you'll be able to create your invoices, finalize your invoices, and post those to the client portal. And your clients will be able to make a payment with Filevine payments in the client portal as well. With that, I'll go ahead and I believe pass it over to Jonathan.
Thank you, Josh, right? And all this is possible. We're all good little children for the holidays. Because let me share my screen here. We have some exciting things to show you with expanded vitals. So as we all know, this time of the year, around the holidays, right? The elf on the shelf is the primary on all the children. Is taking notes and making sure things are going the way they're supposed to be going. And there's a lot of information out there. And when you're limited to 15 vitals on a case, that's only so much information that Santa gets and has to go off of to determine if a kid gets a Christmas present or different kinds of things around that time. And so we have expanded our vitals to support 100 vitals so that Santa now has a holistic view of what's going on with children across the world, right? But why would our firms get anything less than what Santa Claus would get? And so we didn't think that that was fair. And so at Lex, if you attended, we released our 100 vitals and our reference fields. And so if you've not been able to get on the beta, we wanted to show you what that looks like again. And then also, towards the end, you'll see a QR code here. And then towards the end of the presentation, you'll have a QR code you can scan and sign up. One of the things we wanted to do is allow you as the firm to define up to 100 vitals. So no longer are you limited to the 15 vitals when you have potentially hundreds or thousands of pertinent information you need. But then also not just having vitals in the side vitals tab, but then embedding a vital within the context of your section. So that was one of the big things that we felt was missing, and we heard a lot over the years. And so now you're able to add a flexible reference field to any section. And then a user, when they're in a project, sometimes not 100 vitals is relevant to every user, right? And so we wanted to allow the user themselves to customize their view, just like Santa might need as Santa is going around on the sleigh at around the holidays. So we're going to show you what this looks like. We're here in our project, Catherine O'Neill versus Kyle Jones. And you'll see here on the right, I've got about 50 or so vitals set up. So in the past, if you are, or currently, right, if you're on our legacy vitals, you only have 15 vitals, which is great, but it could be better, right? And so we wanted to unlock this data for our users so that you have all this information that you need at your fingertips as you're going through your project. The other thing to keep in mind here is with reference fields now, we have a case overview section. And one of the things that we did here from our firms was it would be great to have a section where we can just go and see a bunch of different fields pulled out of different places within our project and be able to just have a overview of what's going on here with our case. And so now with reference fields, you can add these into your sections, and these are reading from source pieces of data across your entire project. So in this case, we have right, we have some general vitals here, but then as you look here, we've got some specific section of vitals. So we have a case basics, right? And here, this is referencing data from your intake section. A description, right? This is also referencing data from your intake section. And so now think about this. You can now take a piece of data that belongs in another section, put it in another section, and then not only that, you can make a reference field contingent. And so you can now have these powerful interactions with vitals data, with reference fields all over your project, which is really, really powerful. And so we want to make sure that if you had not got a chance to sign on to the beta, you have a chance to do that this holiday season, because if it's good enough for Santa, it's good enough for you guys, and we want to make sure we get that to you. Additionally, and hot off the press here, we have some updates to our report table that we want to make sure we highlight for you. This is just released out to our beta, and so you have a chance to sign up for this as well. We're going to hop on over to our report builder. Now,
Hey,
imagine.
Hey,
Oh, go
Jonathan,
ahead,
I
Kiki.
don't mean to cut you off, but there's quite a few questions in here from
Yeah,
people are really excited about this vitals piece.
yeah.
Will you quickly let them know how they would set up their vitals if they were ready to do this right away?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, so once you sign up for the beta, we'll enable it in your site, and then you're going to go to your customs editor section here. So if we go to your advanced here and then come over to your customs editor, just where you set up your vitals today, we're going to go to our Lex. Sorry, I didn't have this one pulled up. Let's see, here we go. Um,
Seeing it here live, folks.
Here we go. So now this view is going to handle all the 100 vitals that you might need to set up. So once you've had the beta enabled, this will be your view, and you can sign up for that. There is some great documentation on our help center that you can also check out and read all the details around that as well. It's also here in our beta releases here. You can read about it down here as well. But yeah, so there you can sign up right there as well. And reference field, same thing, right? So like in our case overview section, we've got a reference field here. So it's just a new field type. So you have a reference field that you can create from within a section. So yeah, all within the same context that you're used to.
And once again, Jonathan, they can sign up for the beta by scanning that QR code, right?
Correct. The QR code from within the app, all the different places.
Awesome. That sounds great. So that will be both the vitals and the reference fields. Lots of people are excited about these reference fields, Jonathan.
No, absolutely. They're very powerful, and so we're excited. I think Susan Olive asked a great question here when they're rolling out in finals. So we're hoping here in the next year we can do that. We are trying to finish up supporting Teams vitals, and so that's just one thing to keep in mind. We do support primary, first primary there, and we're wrapping up Teams vitals here, so we hope to have that out fairly soon. And once we do that, then we'll start rolling it out more in mass, and we'll let you know when we get to that point.
Yep,
Um,
you answered two questions in one, Jonathan. They had a question about Teams vitals too, so you're crushing it.
Perfect, perfect.
Awesome. Well, I'll let you
Um,
continue on, and I'm sure there'll be other questions you can hop into the chat as well.
For sure, for sure. No, thanks, Keegan. That was great. Last but not least, we have some updates to our report table we want to show you. So again, this is our a new view of the report table with some new features that you can use and have access to when you sign up for this beta. So first thing here I'll show you is if you remember or not remember, you currently have this experience where if you have loaded more than 25 or so results, all these controls go down to the bottom. And so we know how much everybody loves to scroll all the way down to the bottom to get back to those controls, right? And so that's one piece of feedback we received where, hey, I just need these controls to be able to do what I need to do. And so now we're going to keep these controls right here for you as you navigate. I'm going to highlight a couple things here just for the sake of time. But one thing here that we now have is the ability to pin a column. This is one of my favorites because I use spreadsheets a ton and I pin so many columns. And around the holidays, Santa's going to need to pin some of these columns with the kids' names and know what to keep sending down the chimney. And so here you can pin a column. You can pin the name of the case and you can scroll back and forth and not lose the context of what you're trying to look at here in the table. The other thing I'll highlight here is with this beta, you can select specific columns that you want to view in the table. Now, this does not affect the setup columns. So, you might have a data connector job that's connected to that or an auto report. This won't affect that. This is just for your view when you're interacting with the table. So here I can unselect all these and I can select specific columns. And then I can just focus on those pieces of data and I can bring back all the columns at one time. So I don't have to go back and set up the columns, run the report, view it again. I can do that all from right here. And last, but definitely not least, but this is my absolute favorite, is you can select a cell, you can select multiple cells, you can select multiple rows of cells. You can use your keyboard shortcuts to select all the cells that are in view here. So these 200 rows. So if you have a report that might have 192 results like this one, you can select all that information and you can copy that with the headers, without the headers, and you can paste that into a spreadsheet. You don't have to go over to save and export data. You can do that from within the context of the table. So some pretty powerful tools that we want to make available to you all this holiday season to help you be just as effective as Santa this holiday season. So with that, I'm going to pass it on to Rachel.
And Jonathan, before we pass it to
Yes.
Rachel, I am just seeing Josh Hostillo getting blown up in the chat. Lots of holiday cheer around our client portal. So Rachel, we're going to take a quick pause and we're going to put Josh on the hot seat, I guess. Josh, if you want to jump through and maybe answer some of these live, it seems like a lot of folks have similar questions and I want to make sure everyone's getting the answers they need.
Yeah, definitely. So a lot of them I have already answered in the chat. Sorry, Keegan, I didn't see your message till now. But yeah, so I definitely have answered a good bit of them. But all right, so for rollout purposes, we will start mass enablement, which means very large volumes of customers going live in January, and that'll be running through February. And so we'll start that then. And then some members asked about how we map phases to steps along the way. So we, just like any other portal you've probably dealt with in the past, we have the ability to, map a specific Filevine phase to a step along the way. You can actually map multiple phases to a single step. So that means that the client doesn't get a notification every time the phase changes, but only when the step changes along the way. So for many of you that may use intake or maybe discovery or things like that all in one single step, you can do that. And the client doesn't get a notification every time the phase changes, just only when the step changes. There was a question around large size documents or files. We do allow up to 100 megabytes of uploading at one time. That can be spread out across different documents, but up to 100 megs. And I think that's all the ones that I probably haven't answered, Keegan.
Let's see, we were getting some other ones. Does the client portal allow us to auto schedule text messages?
No. So the client portal communicates in portal messaging, so there isn't actually a text message feature other than the invite and notification method. But along the way, we will be adding in some of the more, I wouldn't say scheduled, but some more of the mass enablement as far as mass messaging. As far as scheduling, that's going to be a little further down the road.
Awesome. And a few people just wanted a quick refresher on how they could set this up, Josh.
Yeah.
I know you shared that, but it is a little bit of a different process. So if you want to run through that again real quick.
Absolutely, yeah. So, for anybody that's enabled, we have a client portal manager app that is that allows you to map each one of your phases along the way to a specific step. Additionally, those descriptions that I showed in the client portal, those can be set up by each one of your project types, or if you have a single project type with multiple case types, we do have the ability to split the timeline by that custom field for case type. So that your firm can make sure that an MVA case doesn't get the same messaging as your workers' comp case. So making sure that we do separate that for you guys. If you need help setting that up, I am available as a resource to help set that up. We also have a team internally that's going to be helping with that as well. And I do send out a welcome email as I enable each one of the firms that have been enabled currently. So I'm enabling more and more by day, but starting January, there'll be a mass enablement going on.
The great thing is, Josh, I've read the Help Center articles as well. They're really nice step-by-steps for anyone on today that would like to just have, a list of steps while you're setting it up for your firm. And then obviously our team is always available to help with anything. So Josh, thanks for joining us back here. When I see a lot of excitement, I think it's important that we talk about it live. Jonathan, before I go to Rachel, anything you want to answer? It seems like people are pretty excited about vitals too.
Yeah, I think no, I'm just gonna go through and start answering through these
Okay.
these questions here. Yeah,
This is
these are great
perfect. A lot
questions.
of
Yeah.
them seem pretty personalized, so we'll make sure that they get answered, folks, as Rachel goes. So, Rachel, with that, we are going to give you the floor to talk about something very new that I bet almost no one on this webinar has seen or heard about before. So, Rachel, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Yeah, hi everybody. I'm the Senior Product Manager over our Documents product, and today we are announcing our Filevine Documents Anti-Virus enhancement. So currently inside Filevine, anytime a document gets into the system, whether that's through upload, you saved it via email, it came in earlier with a migration, those files are being scanned for viruses, and now we're going to alert the users within the system alert the users within the system if they have a virus. So what you're looking at now is project docs, and you'll see these two new icons right here in the list for the doc's name. If you highlight over it, you'll see this file could pose a risk. That means we scanned it with our software and we found potentially malicious content. So we're letting the user know, hey, there's something about this file, you should take a look at it. If you go ahead and click on it, go over to your details panel, you'll also see this really nice warning message as well. This content might have some malicious content on it. We are not blocking the users from taking any actions with that file. They can continue to do anything they need to with it, but we're just alerting them, hey, maybe you should reach out to your IT department, let them know there's something about this file. This icon and this messaging will appear throughout the app wherever you see file names, in the feed, the org feed, the project feed, custom sections, static sections, your mailroom, truly anywhere you see a file. Again, we're not blocking users from taking those actions. So if you go ahead and were to download this file, for example, you're going to get another warning. We're really trying to drive home to the user, hey, this file could pose a risk. You should alert somebody to it. You can continue to proceed with that action, or you can cancel it and go ahead and alert your IT department. All of these actions where you are sharing this file, you're really, you could potentially be doing something negative with it, we are going to alert you. Move and copy, again, you'll get this really nice message. Share link over here, again, we're not blocking those actions, but we're really driving home, hey, you should contact somebody about this. The icons and the alerting message work really well for our users who are in the system day in, day out, but we also have a report that will alert users, alert more of that IT user or that admin user to the virus. So over here, when you're in your list of docs report, there's now a column called virus detected. So if you go ahead and choose your criteria, scroll down to that section over here, pick virus detected, you'll be able to run a report for no virus, yes virus, not scanned yet. And that'll allow that IT user, again, that admin user, to really be able to have a holistic view of everything going on within the org. Again, really nice notifications here, and this will go out first thing in the new year. And we're really excited about it because it's one of a kind. Not a lot of other companies on the market are letting their users know about these viruses like that. So it's a really big win for you guys. And with that, I'll hand it back.
This is awesome. There was a few additional questions for you, Rachel. They were curious, are there proactive alerts to org admins when a file contains a potential threat?
There are not yet, but I would keep eye out for something like that coming in the future. I see that Dan Spitzer is saying within it doesn't scan within the zip file, but if the zip file itself is malicious, that'll get notified. So
Awesome.
really, yeah, we're really excited to get this out for you guys, and again, early next year.
Awesome. It looks like there are a few more questions around just if a user determines that a file's safe, can the virus alert be removed? How do they go against that, I guess, Rachel?
You'll need to work with your IT department on that. Potentially, download, they'll have a safe way for you to download that file. They'll be able to validate that it's cleaned up, and then you could upload it as a new version into that existing file, and that'll clear out that virus. Or you can always reach out to us for help as well.
Awesome. For the sake of time, Rachel, I'm going to have you jump in and answer the rest of these via chat, and we will continue on here for the webinar. So, oops. I was behind. All right, so now we're entering the portion of AI gifts for AI customers. Now, if you aren't a Filevine AI customer, that's okay. Maybe something will pique your interest and you may want to join the Filevine AI customer group next year. But that being said, as we expand our AI, we want to make sure that these features are also enhancing the way these users are able to leverage AI throughout their entire process in Filevine. So with that, I'm incredibly excited to bring Drew to the stage to talk about AI data mapping.
Thanks, Keegan. All right. So AI data mapping, this was another feature that was previewed at Lex Summit. And just a little background, we have AI Fields as a product here in our AI suite, and it allows you to perform AI analysis on your uploaded documents. So you upload a document, you can pick from one of our many different prompts for many different use cases, and it will take the information from the document and extract it into one of your fields. That was great and it was useful, and it still is very useful. But we saw a lot of users having trouble trying to take that extracted information and make it more structured, kind of put it in a spreadsheet view. So this is where AI data mapping came along. So I'm going to show this feature. So this is an uploaded document I have in my project, and this is traditional AI Fields output. So I've selected the medical chronology prompt, and it's extracted great bits of information from this document. Things that would have normally taken a lot of time to sift through a document and find all this information by hand is now done automatically with our AI fields. Now, like I mentioned before, though, this information is hard to sift through if I want to take this into a spreadsheet. It's like there's not a lot of great options. I can create a collection section and manually insert it. So that is where AI data mapping comes in. So you can see this information that's uploaded, this document that's uploaded. Now with AI data mapping, I have a collection section within Filevine where all of those same data points are automatically extracted from the document when I upload it, and they're all inserted into this collection. So we have the traditional AI field analysis, but now we have a more structured view. And since this is a collection section, you get all the nice features that come along with that. So I can sort by one of these particular data fields. I can filter by one of these data fields. I can export this to a CSV. So it's a really nice workflow to have all of those particular data points extracted automatically. And the only input that was needed was uploading the document. So I'm going to also just kind of walk through the setup because this is referencing all of the data points, and this is a sample document that I uploaded, but this is all the data points enabled. But with the setup here, we've made it so that you can select which data points are most relevant for your workflow. So if you don't want any of these data points, you can come and deselect them and it will not be inserted into the collection. So really making it very flexible so that it fits your workflow. You can also tie them to existing fields. If you already had a workflow set up or you already had a collection section set up, you can tie them to those existing fields. So this is in beta now. We're adding more beta users constantly to this, and we've had great feedback so far. You'll see a QR at the end of this presentation to make sure you're on the beta. We're looking to release this broadly to everyone in the beginning of Q1. So really exciting news with that. With the prompt itself, it'll be for medical chronology at first, but we will have more prompts available to this in the future. So one that we've been testing, for example, is medical billing, extracting charges. So you can extract charges from a medical bill and have those inserted. So a little preview on prompts that are to come, and there's many more beyond these two that are sort of in flight. That is data mapping. I think I had the next feature too, if you want me to just roll right into that, Keegan.
Yep, that would be amazing. Let's just double check the chat real quick and make sure there isn't anything we should answer live about this. I think most of these you can handle one off. So I say we move on to the next one, Drew, and then we'll jump back to this one.
All right, great.
Thanks.
So the next feature we're going to talk about is Validation AI. So this feature is centered around users that live by phase stages within their Filevine setup. So you go from one phase to the next phase. That informs a lot at your organization. It could inform new people working on the project, automated workflows, all sorts of things. And you want to make sure that certain data is in the right form before you do that, because you might need that data in order to work on the next phase of your project. So Validation AI is a feature that allows you to write rules using natural language and have those rules enforced when you try to change the phases. So it's really nice. It's really flexible. You can reference basically any piece of data within your project, different projects. You can combine rules, and I'll kind of show what that looks like here. So here I have a section in Filevine, and you can see that for these new phases that have Validation AI applied, you see this purple sparkle. And what that means is that when I try to change to a phase, it's going to give me an alert that says a validation check is required. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to validate it. So one of the validations that I have enabled is that there must be a value in this field. So imagine this is a field for an insurance provider, and you want to make sure that that field has a value before you're able to go on to the next phase. You can do that here. And where this is great is it's not just required fields. You can have it combine different rules. So I'll go in and I'll show how these rules are set up to give you a better idea of how flexible they can be. So here I'm in my custom section, and I'm going to my project type, and I'm in my phases tab. Once I click on a phase that I want rules enabled for, you will see this use validation toggle. And what's great about this is where you can combine many different fields in your rules. So imagine this as this is what's going to be looked at to make sure that all of these rules are met before the phase can change. So if I have another field equals State Farm, for example, from an insurance provider, and the assigned coworker is Bob Smith. So you can have many different rules, and all of these are just written in natural language. We have some recommendations with our beta documentation on how to best write these rules. But what this does is now when I'm in here and I go and I try to go to the next phase. So this one I have set a validation rule that this required field has a value. I'm going to go through, I'm going to validate it. It's going to run the validations that I've set, and it's going to let me know if it works. It says, hold on, your validation check is not passed. It looks like you need to do it again. So I could try to validate it again. I have the option in this setup to override if I choose to. So you have this one down here that allow validation to be overridden. So that is why I see this proceed anyway button. But here, if I go in and I enter a value into that field that it's checking, and I now try to move to that phase, it's going to check to see if that phase has a value again, and it's going to allow me to successfully move to the next phase. So the rules in this example are a little straightforward, but they're very, very flexible, and you can have many different rules across different data points in your project, making it a really seamless workflow, so that way you have the right data when you move phases.
This one's really cool, Drew. I know of a few firms that are using this and loving this process for their firms. All right. So we have talked about a lot. We've had the new feed, we've had client portal, we've had reference fields and 100 vitals, we have new antivirus, which is honestly the best in class, only on the market option for this. We have new AI iterations for our Filevine AI users. We have one more from Jeff Lindsay here to talk about dot compare, and then stay on the webinar here because we have a surprise coming for you just after Jeff. So Jeff, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Keegan. Hi, everyone. I'm Jeff Lindsay. I'm the head of product for Outlaw and FVDA. And I wanted to let you know that we've released a new utility that allows quick document comparison. So let me share my screen. I'll give you a quick demo as well. So this tool is a very simple way to compare document versions with a single click. You can instantly see all of those changes in color coding between the two drafts or two versions, and you can download a report or an overview of what those differences are as a PDF. So now I'm going to take you into what that looks like. So here you can see our document comparison tool. It's a simple web page right now. Again, this is a beta that we're looking for signups for, but you can quickly click and upload your original document. You can upload the additional version of your document that you want to compare. You can output as either docx or PDF. In this case, I'm going to choose PDF. So it takes a few moments to compare those files depending on the length of the documents and the complexity of the differences. But now once it's ready, I can preview the PDF and see what those differences are. So additions in the document are highlighted as green, and any changes or redlining are marked as red and strike through. So you can see here all of those changes. If I want to, I can download this PDF or I can download it as a docx. It's a very, very simple tool. Again, this is just kind of a beta that we're looking to get signups for. And the goal is to add this to our Word plugin in Q1 of next year. So you'll be able to seamlessly also compare versions from your Outlaw documents. And long-term, we're looking to get it into Filevine so that you can do it directly from the Filevine interface. So very quick, seamless, easy to compare two versions and download the PDF. So if you're interested in that beta, please look at the QR code and sign up.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeff.
Right.
I know I've personally been on a few calls where people were asking for this, so I was excited to hear that the beta would be releasing. With that, we have a very big moment here. As you all know, bringing AI to the forefront of everything Filevine does has been a goal of ours over the past year and will continue to be a goal of ours in 2025. You know, it's one thing to have different AI products, but it's another thing to truly embed AI into every step of a platform like Filevine that has so much data and so much user activity no matter where they are in a case. So I'm incredibly excited because Juliet told us that she could give us a sneak peek into something that we will be launching in early 2025 that will be just the very tip of the iceberg of what you can expect Filevine to look like by the end of the year. So with that, Juliet, not to put you, up in lights, I think
ready
they're
for it.
ready to hear from you.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for the introduction. Yes, to say we are excited about sharing this would be such an understatement. It has been really all that some of our teams have been talking about and focused on for the past, I want to say weeks, months. It's definitely been in our vision for quite some time. And today you're going to get a little taste of what's to come. So I've shared my screen. What I am looking at right now is I'm on a case. My project, it is for a fall that occurred. I can just read this, a little bit of the incident, a fall that occurred at a nursing home facility, just to use an example here. But where does AI come into this? So what we have available already, and I think across the board, folks are probably pretty well using this particular project. I'm going to move on to another page, is our sidebar AI, right? So we're familiar with that tool. We know what it can do. I can click summarize and sidebar AI will pop open and existing functionality, right? It'll get me a summary of this activity section. So everything in the feed, your notes, your tasks, you name it, sidebar AI can currently focus on it, has it in its sights. However, not all of my information is going to be stored in the activity section, right? If I'm working in my project, I have all of these custom sections built out. I have my meds where I have my providers. I have my doc section, which has all of my documents. It has all of the medical records, the police reports, you name it. All sorts of different pieces of information stored within Filevine, but in various places within Filevine. So we thought, wouldn't it be cool? Wouldn't it be useful if we gave Sidebar AI the ability to look not just in the activity section, but cross-project, to look in my custom sections, to look inside my documents and the contents of the documents, and to really allow me to start, you can think of it like chatting with my case, chatting with my project in natural language. So it doesn't require any additional configuration. We're building this in a way that it's our hope that you can just kind of open up and start chatting. But let's take a look at it. I want to run through just a couple of examples so you get a sense of what I'm talking about here. I'm going to just paste in or type in a question. Has there been a settlement offer? And so my AI is going to get to work. It's looking here. It's looking here. It's looking here. It's looking everywhere in the project. And it gets me back that response. Yes, there's been a settlement offer. It looks like 25,000. Another note mentions settlement offer. Gives me back some context, right? So it's not just answering my question, it's offering additional context. But let's say I want to give it a little bit more of a challenge. So something that maybe the information lives in various sections. Tell me all the people involved in this case. And so what would, maybe as an attorney, if I've inherited this file or if it's been transferred to me as a new case, it could take me days, weeks, it could take me a little bit of time to get caught up, but to be able to ask my question here and really use Sidebar to start navigating in my project, you can see all of the productivity that this unlocks. So here, I can see in this particular case, it's telling me that my client has a son, and I'm kind of putting this together with this latest note that the client's son emailed me new information. So I kind of want to check out what that new information is. So I'm asking Sidebar, this is a little bit of a challenge, right? Tell me what the son said in his latest email to us. So it's going to do its thing. It's going to think. It's going to look at all the emails on the file. It's going to ideally pull up that latest email, scan it, get me back a summary, and everybody hold tight for just a second because it's thinking a little bit, but it'll say, there we go. So that last email, it looks like mentioned a little bit of extra details about the case. Maybe there was a little bit of a delay in communicating the full, really relevant key information here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to flag this particular bit of information, and I'm going to say what the AI has provided me, good relevant detail from elsewhere in the project, right? From the doc section, from my email section. I actually want to flag that for myself for later to review so I can kind of take what Sidebar's given me, what the AI has, and add it back into my Filevine here. So for the future, I have that to look at. So once more to be clear, this is something we are very, very excited about. But Keegan, I think you said it best, tip of the iceberg stuff to allow me to chat in natural language with my project, with all the information stored in Filevine. We're very, very, very excited about this and definitely more to come in the future.
This truly becomes the right hand that is there to answer every question that you need in a moment's notice, not just to look back on the case, which we thought was really cool last year, but you know, we're on to new, bigger and better things. So thank you to Juliet, Alex, and team for really thinking about how attorneys and legal professionals are acting with these cases, how they're trying to find information, and how quickly they can now move and find answers. So this is incredibly excited. As we said, it's just the tip of the iceberg. We can't wait to show you more throughout the year, and there will be more information announced come early 2025. That being said, being the ones that joined us for this holiday cheer, you are the first external folks to see this live in action. So hopefully you're as excited as we are. So with that, many of you have been in the channel asking to sign up for the betas to get information. So in here, there are multiple QR codes. We understand that this is a lot. So after this webinar, my team is actually going to send out an email with every single link, every product that was talked about and information about it in an email. We will also be sending out the recording so that way, if you want to share this with team members, if you want to join betas, if you want to learn more, you can. So by scanning each of these, you will get in touch with the right folks. For the folks that were interested in different betas that are officially live now, each of these QR codes, which will also be included in your email, will be available for you to sign up and get using this right away within beta. Now, as beta customers, we hope you give us lots of feedback. That is the best thing that can happen for our product. So bring us the good, the bad, the ugly, the ideas, so that we can continue to iterate on these projects in 2025. So with that, I am going to stop sharing screen. We left a little time for some Q&A. So I'm going to review really quickly through the Q&A, see if there's anything else we should be answering live, and make sure that everyone is getting what they came for, which was a lot of holiday cheer and mini gifts from the Filevine family over here. So Kevin, we will send out the QR codes after to make sure you have them. I can also pull this back up, but reference fields comes along with vitals. So let me actually just reshare that. We'll just answer live here for you. So if you look at expanded vitals, reference fields will be added alongside of that. So go ahead and scan this QR code and you should be in a good place there. Let's see what other questions we've got.
There's been one about kind of the future and changes that are happening in the sidebar. I'd encourage people to just kind of stay tuned. There'll be more information that comes out about that. This is a very, very early stage demo that we're showing off for what the final product is going to look like. So what we saw today will be a little bit different than what ends up being released, but definitely stay tuned as we continue making changes there.
Awesome. Thank you, Alex, for jumping in on that. You know, all of this, if you've now noticed being with Filevine, if some of you all have been customers for a long time, we're consistently iterating, adding, developing new things. And it's thanks to these folks here to be able to have these webinars and share those new products with you. So thank you again for all of your questions, your insights in the Q&A. You surely made it a fun experience for us to make sure that we could continue to share these things with you. So which things have had that, okay, so if you are a customer, a lot of people are asking, if I'm a base Filevine user, not Filevine AI, what's included? So those first outlines that we provided to you, and I'm going to list them off to make sure that I do not miss one, are, give me a second, activity feed, client portal, expanded vitals and reference fields, and antivirus will be free for all customers as they roll out of the beta, as well as they go into full feature functionality. The AI free gifts are the data mapping, the validation AI, the doc compare, as well as the future amazing things that Juliet shared with everyone here. Awesome.
Keegan, can I answer Patrick Norton's question in here?
I would love that. We're in the Q&A. It's a perfect time for it.
Absolutely. So Patrick had a great question. Is Client Portal going to be a phone app for clients? It is built in a way where it does not have to be downloaded from any app store. It's called a progressive web app. What that means is that any URL that they're on from the Client Portal, they can click the share button on their phone and then scroll down to add to home screen. And that will create an icon on their phone that functions and acts just like a native application that you would download from an iOS store or your Google Play stores. That allows the push notification to come through. So they do not have to download an app from any app store. They can just share the URL from their browser and allow it to save as an icon on their phone.
Thanks for sharing that, Josh. I've actually heard that question before, so I'm glad you answered that live. Awesome. Well, as we wrap this up, I'm going to go ahead and quickly check the chat one more time. Looks like a lot of folks are interested in trying a lot of these things. So this is amazing. So when this email comes out, I will share my screen just one last time to make sure if there was any other QR codes you wanted to scan here and not wait for an email, that we can make sure that you get those now. Otherwise, we will go ahead and log off. We will share this with you via email. And thank you again for spending time over such a busy time of year with all of us. So once again, we have our activity feed here. We have our expanded vitals. We have antivirus, client portal, and Filevine AI. You can scan any of these to learn more. And then also for beta signups, we have the reporting, the data mapping, the validation AI, and the doc compare. So thank you again to the Filevine team for joining me to share all of these gifts with the Filevine customers. And thank you to all of our customers joining us today to learn more about where we're going in 2025. Happy holidays, everyone.